this is a banner meeting in part because the bylaws require that I take a sabbatical after 6 years on the board. That's me to the left-hand side of the screen with the incoming chair, Dr. Dan Perlman. And so I guess we could all have a shout out and a clap. I can't see everybody's face to see them all clapping that I'm leaving. Or getting kicked off, or however it is. But thank you so much. This gives these are a few pictures here. So in Australia, the RAM Global, I think that's the last annual general meeting. In Colombia, we have a wonderful project helped by Ted Silver and Belkis and a lot of other people. So it's wonderful to see you. We have so many new projects going in Nigeria and elsewhere. And then over in Kenya, this is part of the Wacom group.
This is Josephine, and she's one of the organizers in Kakamega who helped us do a pilot project in February of this year with 18 Rotarians who went to Kenya. Thank you.
All right. We have an agenda that's going on. I'd just like to highlight 3 things. One is membership is now in the thousands. We're over 2,000. And secondly, we now have members in over half of all Rotary districts. So we're either 260 or 280 some, and it's growing day by day. So we have more and more members. We have more and more activities going. And then the third thing, we've done more in fundraising and deploying money, so much so that we have challenges counting it because we have different wanting to support it. So we have the regular RAM Global Fund. Some non-Rotarians started a fund here in Bloomington Normal called the Friends of RAM Global, which we use for some of the U.S. contributions. In Germany, there's a Deutschland Fund, where they've taken money and sent it to Tanzania. And in our figures, we do not include those numbers for what we've raised. Hank Campbell did some calculations, quick calculations, and came up with a couple $100,000 more that we had given out or an influence. So we're really, really happy about that. So those are 3 things. Now, incoming, we have great activities coming this year. And DDF is going to be something we want to pursue because the Rotary Foundation has changed some rules so that we will be able to pursue DDF from a whole lot of districts. It's either use it or lose it. So that's enough from me. And we'll head over to the annual general meeting agenda. We have so many people on. I established a quorum. We have a lot of attendees, a few apologies who couldn't make it, and introducing new board members. We have so many new board members. Should we do this a little later as we have some more people in? That
yes.
would be a choice. Because we have such a strong board and so many new people. And we even have people coming in from South Sudan, Linda Stevens. Oh boy, that's outstanding. So the consent calendar, the voting will be at the end. The minutes of the last AGM are in this. We have the chair's report, which I think, Dan, you have a clean description of that right in front of you. And then goals and planned activities in 24-25. So
let's go to the next slide, please.
Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. And this is just a general slide. Someone getting a malaria RDT, which is a rapid diagnostic test in Nigeria.
Okay.
Next slide. This is the consent agenda, which people can click on and look at while we're chatting. And the financial report, which we're going to give in a different slide in more detail. But this shows the minutes from our last meeting last year. And we'll be voting on this and having questions on it in a little bit. I think we should go on to the next slide because there's so many people to introduce. Go ahead, Drake.
This is the list of new members. From Germany is Vice Chair, Dr. Rainer Nussdorf. And then Linda Obiri-Yeboah is a secretary. We've been in severe need of a secretary, and we're so thankful that she stepped up to be here. So it's going to be a joy. Jenny Carrison is our cadre member. Cadres are the official experts of Rotary International on a specific subject matter. She's ex officio here, and she's beyond wonderful. We have Rick Cuthbertson from Canada coming. We want to get a lot more Canadians in. Arthur, I am not going to mispronounce your name. He's the membership chair.
Is he on? He could introduce himself if he's on.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. We saw your picture there.
Arthur, how would you like to be called? Is Arthur good?
I think so.
Yeah. Yes. Alpha is okay.
Good. We're moving quickly.
Yeah. Alpha is okay. That's my first name.
Outstanding. Good. Oscar is communications and IT co-chair. So much goes through IT that overlaps with communications that we decided to combine the two. And with him as co-chair is Subhashish Chatterjee from India. We have so much going on in India that we're really excited. We are really excited about what's going on there. Akoma is the grants co-chair along with Hank Campbell, who's not new on the board, but he's been around. We've had this great run of grants going that you have some pretty big shoes to fill there, Akoma, and Hank knows that he's got his work cut out for him. Bob Kemp is a strategic planning co-chair. He's a PDG and out west United States and is very active in the zone. He has some great ideas, especially on how to tap the DDF that districts will have for us. Saifullah Ejaz Chowdhury is a strategic planning co-chair in there. So we have this global overview. We are RAM Global, so we operate in several continents. Crispo Biaya is member at large. Dr. Axel von Bierbauer is member at large. Joshua Mugabe, Marian Nakunda, GK Balakrishnan is there. Jim Mowry is a member at large. He's been very active in getting microscopes to a variety of countries. Bruce Anderson is the head of RAM Australia, which is part of ROCS officially. Clayton Taylor is out of the Oklahoma City Club, member at large. Jennifer Burrell, she's in education, resources co-chair. And Bryna Perlman, who's fundraising chair, and she gets special assignments once in a while. So that's the new members very, very quickly. So we'll hear more from each of them over the course of the year and some during this meeting.
Thank you all for stepping up to the plate on this. I think it's going to be a very active year of different projects and activities. And we're really excited about the diversity and the international group we have joining the board.
Yes, exactly. This is great. So
next, please.
And next is some of the achievements. This will be part of what I'm going over. We have, and I lost it on my screen. There we go. We increased membership by over 50%. We now have over 266 districts in 85 countries. I think this is a few days old and we have even more. We significantly increased our ambassadors program and our global footprint to over half of Rotary. We've improved the website dramatically and we're continuing to improve that. We have more districts, more members from more districts, but we weren't collecting the district information as one item. One of the big activities that we've done is schedule the communications to inform members of what our activities and goals are. This newsletter is an absolute winner. David Hurst and others Catherine obviously works very, very hard. She's the admin who gets it out. It goes to all of the district governors, all the immediate past district governors, the incoming district governors elect nominee, all the DISCs, district international service coordinators, all cadres, and it gets opened by about half of the people who get it. What email that gets mass sent out to over 5,000 people gets opened by even 10% of anything? So it's extremely informative. It keeps getting opened. It's just it's a feather in our cap. Thank you to all of the people who worked on it. I'm still going fast here. Thank you very much. The Kenya Africa Tour in 2024 was Ram Global's first malaria tour with 18 Rotarians from the US. They did several grants while they were there and ran several events that are also not included in our $87,000 here, given in the grants, the next items. It set the stage and solidified the framework around one of the next global grants that are going, called the WACM grant. We'll hear a little more about Western Africa, Kenya against malaria. And then we did over $87,000 worth of grants directly from Ram Global, went to 8 countries. We had a whole lot of other funds outside the Ram Global's committee network to other global grants. For example, the Zambia Global Grant that goes to retrain the community healthcare workers. The Uganda grant, where we were one of the largest contributors, Ram Global members, I don't believe we counted in the 87,000. We're really thrilled with what the Oklahoma City Club has done there to train community healthcare workers and increase that. Moving to the next one, we shared a booth at the Rotary International Convention in Singapore. We had done that in Melbourne last year. In Singapore, we had great attendance, and both Dan and Bryna went over to that, as did a couple other board members, and made great connections in the Rotary community at large. We sponsored a booth and presented a poster on the West Timor project at the ASTMH in Chicago. That's where several thousand scientists come together and go over the latest research on malaria. Part of our function is to take the research that's out there and spread it throughout the Rotary community, or figure out how we can use that information to improve the decline of malaria, to make malaria go down further. The paper there is actually authored by Dr. Jenny Carrison, who's our cadre member out of Hobart, about how you lower malaria rates using these great innovations in West Timor. RAM Australia is known and will not toot its own horn, but it was very active in getting malaria from the war-torn country of Timor-Leste, a new country, from extremely high rates down to 0 in a dozen years, and then now it's getting certified as 0. That is an accomplishment, and the protocols there, what we learned there, we're taking over to Africa. So they're very exciting things. Then Jenny followed it by going over to West Timor, designing protocols to knock malaria down quickly, more quickly than any of us expected in West Timor, the other half of the island. That spreads throughout Indonesia. We hope Indonesia is rapidly on its way towards 0, along with other countries. We submitted and co-sponsored, this is the WACM grant, the first RI Global grant to bolster community healthcare promoters in Western Kenya. As I mentioned earlier, for those who are on, the Germans, led by Dr. Axel von Bierbrauer and the West German government, are over in Rarieda in Western Kenya, where they've trained quite a lot of community healthcare workers. A grant from through RAM Global from the Aspen Club, mainly, paid for the bicycles, the telephones, the boots, and the other equipment for the training of those healthcare workers. That is the pilot. That's the proof of concept. Now we're doing the scale up in Western Kenya using this first global grant. So the model is 4 parts: proof of concept, Rarieda, proof of scale up, WACM, proof of full country rollout, which is following next year, we hope, and then multi-country rollout. Well, what we're doing is part of the multi-country rollout. So we're really, really excited about what's going on in Western Kenya.
Or the Asia state only can go.
Yes.
And so I'm almost through here. We'll be over to Dan in just a couple more bullet points. He'll tell us more about that. We have sent RAM Global representatives to many Rotary events, several zones, district conferences, PETS, which is President-elect Training Seminars, where some of us have been keynotes or have introduced RAM Global to entire audiences and individual clubs. That's part of the reason why we have so many new members. And we went to several affiliated organizations, including the Alliance for Malaria Prevention, AMP. They're the group who coordinate the distribution of the 250 million plus mosquito nets every year, which have dropped malaria quite a ways. We went to the United to Beat Malaria event in Washington, D.C. Alois actually who's a member of the board, went from Tanzania to the US, and then Hopkins World Malaria Day and many others in there. So these are all really exciting events where we learn a lot, where we get new members, where we collect information that we can distribute. And it makes a much better approach to RAM Global. We're much more effective because of our partnerships and alliances there. We also got a grant from Malaria Partners International. MPI is a group out of Seattle, started as a club project out of Seattle 4 as a centennial project that had one of its members, Bill Gates Sr., you might recognize that name as one of the original founders or consultants of it. They have morphed into Malaria Partners International, get support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They're not officially a Rotary group, but they are all Rotarians, and we work closely with them on many, many things. They have money from Gates. They gave us a grant for $20,000 this year that we've used to strengthen our administrative functions. And now we're over to the goals and visions for next year. I want to thank everybody for all their very, very hard work this whole year. Now we have a picture of the Dan Perlman, who's the incoming chair, and I'm going to be quiet for a minute.
Okay, so firstly, I want to thank you all for joining us today. It's amazing, this technology where we can register more than 200 people for the meeting, and it's being recorded so you can watch it later if you miss anything. So we've transitioned into a more international, strengthened, and dynamic leadership team. Most of the people on the board are on this call. Some in Asia are struggling with the time zones, and we are planning to have some other time zone meetings that are more centric to Asia and Africa to help those people be more involved. We're developing new relationships with several malaria-centric organizations, as Drake already mentioned. We hope to expand some partnerships. One of them I've been working on is the Dengue Fever Alliance, and global climate change is affecting mosquito populations that affect malaria, but also dengue, Zika, and other other mosquito-borne illness. We're going to be the co-sponsors of the Global Malaria Eradication Congress in Calgary. It's the 2 days just prior to the RI convention. We'll be having our AGM at the RI convention. So we hope that lots of people from this call and our organization, our 5,000 mailing list, register for the Malaria Eradication Congress. And there's a button on the screen, and you'll see on our website, we'll be promoting that event. RAM Global will have a booth at the ASTMH, that's the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene in New Orleans. I'll be there. If anyone in this call wants to join up and help us with the booth, that would be terrific. Be in touch with me. We're developing a RAM Global strategic 5-year plan. We're going to hear about that from Bob Kemp in a moment. We're developing new resources, educational resources with Jennifer Burrell, and she's our new co-chair with Claudia Frost, who has been doing this for about a year now. We're working on being very grassroots oriented. We want to teach communities across the globe how to prevent malaria. We are putting out materials, so these two bullet points really fit together. We'll be promoting the training and equipping of community health promoters once WACM is approved. WACM stands for Western Alliance of Kenya Against Malaria. And we know that the WACM plan, where you whack a mosquito one at a time, doesn't work well. So we're going to be expanding that whole model. We support net distribution, medical camps, and outcome metrics. We're developing new fundraising. My wife is going to be in charge and take the bull by the horns on that one. Expand our grant funding reach, grant implementation and reporting. We're really excited. Akoma from Nigeria is going to be the lead on that with Hank Campbell. They're both really dynamic people that will make this happen. We hope to be able to launch the WACM grant in the first quarter of Rotary year 24-25, roll out our support for the Healthy Community Challenge, which was announced in Singapore, distribute 40,000 mosquito nets in northern Tanzania. And there's a Rotary Action Group. We're a Rotary Action Group, or a RAG, and there's a council that's been developed, and we're going to find a member of our team to sit on that council and be part of that activity once a month, which will be organized through Rotary International. Next slide, please. Okay, we're going to quickly go through the director reports. You can see some people at various booths in this picture. Next slide, please. So, Drake, do you want to introduce David Hurst?
David Hurst is a phenomenon in our local community and beyond now, thanks to all of the work that he's done. And David, you're on. Would you like to go through some of the goals and accomplishments? We can only do like 8 or 10 of them this year.
Yeah, so basically what we've been working on this year is getting standards of operation working. We put together a quarterly newsletter. We tried to make News Blast more efficient by having a 7-day turnaround. We set up some ways for people to make requests. Those really weren't well adopted. Hopefully those will get adopted as the new group comes aboard. The goal is to get more global engagement, and I think the new leadership will take that and run with that. We have more global representation on this committee moving forward. We meet twice a week on Tuesdays, just so you know that if you're interested in joining our committee. It's a 1-hour meeting, usually pretty well organized, and move forward. We've been doing malaria minutes, and if you're interested in making a malaria minute, or if you have an idea for what a malaria minute might look like, those are the videos that we put out to kind of let people know what's going on with malaria around the world, meeting people that are engaged with that. I'm trying to think what else. You're welcome to take a look at the full report. It's a great team. I mean, we really have Catherine and Carlos and Bryna have been great to work with. So looking forward to moving ahead this year.
And David is going to be stepping down as the chair, and we have 2 great co-chairs. So we're excited about that. I think we should move on to strategic planning for 2 to 3 minutes. Bob Kemp. Thank you, David.
Bob, are you still muted?
Oh, I don't think so. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? There we go.
Yes.
Well, a moment of silence, because strategic planning starts with a clean slate, I guess. I welcome the opportunity to work with all of you. And I, along with my co-chair, we really have an opportunity to work with the whole group with an eye towards where does RAM want to be 5 years from now. And you know, I mean, we have no preconceived ideas. I think we've got some concepts that we want to work on, but really, it's going to be, at least in the initial phases, very much a fact finding, working within our organization as well as the rest of the Rotary world to kind of figure out where RAM fits in Rotary's plans to attack malaria worldwide, and ultimately where RAM wants to go in a global fight against malaria. So that's my thoughts.
Thank you, Bob. And this is a new committee that we did a 5-year plan 5 years ago, and it's basically expired. And if you read it, you'll find that we didn't exactly go where we thought we were going to go. So it's really great that we're starting from scratch, and we have a exciting time frame that we're working in now with 2 malaria vaccines approved by the World Health Organization. We have new types of mosquito nets. We have new strategies for vector control, genomics, etc. So it's a really important time in our global efforts. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, is Conrad on? I didn't see his picture yet.
Yeah, I'm on.
Good.
Well, I can say the following about our ambassador program. My and our interest is that in every country in the endemic areas, one member should become country ambassador. And if there are more people around, then they should appoint club ambassadors. I have written recently to Rotarians in 12 countries, telling them to organize that. And I hope that they will do it immediately so that we can come up with other countries as well. In countries like India, when we have to consider that there are 1.4 billion people living there, that is more than 20 other countries in the world, they should certainly not only have one country ambassador and club ambassadors, but also ambassadors in certain areas, so that we have a good structure, in this case, from the bottom, from the country clubs, through the ambassadors in the countries to our central organization. And I urge all the people in their countries to start projects, and they can communicate about the projects. And like we have seen in the past, the most important points are that people start projects having nets, mosquito nets, having community health workers organized and work together with local communities, especially with the government. One outstanding example is what Alois has done in Tanzania, in the Lindi area. I have sent out his report to many other people, so you can just use that as a blueprint to start your own projects. Over.
Thank you so much, Conrad. This has been wonderful. One of the other ambassadors, coordinators who's out there is Di Mason, who's a PDG from Australia. He is now in Papua New Guinea with the group called APOMA, Alliance, APOMA, Alliance, Asia Pacific Malaria Leaders Organization. They have organized all of Asia Pacific and are making great strides in gathering money and helping out the local country plans. China, as you know, is one of the largest countries gone to zero. Malaysia has also gone to zero. RAM Global has helped, or RAM Australia has 5 focus countries, one of which has already gone to zero and is going on. India will be organizing. So we have some absolutely terrific plans over there. Over in Africa, we also have lots of great successes to build on. So as we go with providing nets, community healthcare workers, data systems, and connections, we can make malaria control happen in these countries and happen faster, which is just wonderful. Thank you so much, Conrad, and in absence, Di. It's really middle of the night over there, for all of the help in getting those programs together. So over to education and resources. We have Claudia Frost, immediate past district governor, who really went to work here.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, night to you all. Thank you for letting me speak here on behalf of the Education and Resources Committee. We've had a lot of challenges, and some of them have been just getting together. We've not yet had a meeting where everyone has been able to attend that are on that committee. Nevertheless, we have updated the Education and Resources section of the website. We're still that's a constant because we're looking at different dates, particularly of World Health Organization's resources. They send them out, and then we find what is more about malaria than anything else and get it on those tabs for you. If there's something that you would like to see and that's not on there, just let me know. The acronyms was my fault, the whole thing. I will admit that. David Hurst has assisted me in that too, by making a game out of it. But I am not of the medical persuasion. My doctorate is in music. It has nothing to do with malaria. I have something to do with malaria now, though, because when people say, "What are you doing?" I say, "Malaria." And then it always leads into a conversation. So spread as I can. So I was frustrated with the amount of acronyms. My committee told me they knew what they meant. I asked them about a couple they didn't know, and they went, "Oh, okay." So now we do have a list of acronyms: small battle, big results, I think. We are working on some actual paper types of things. Is it possible to this will only take a second, but just to show you the trifold that we're working on for the workers to contribute or to take to the homes. Can I do that? Let's see.
I don't think you'll be able to because you're not in charge of the screen.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, but
that's okay.
we can actually send that out in one of our newsletters or a communication showing the final trifold. The trifold is to be given to families that community health workers go to, and it's translated into Swahili. So it'll be interesting for people to have a look at it. Thanks, Claudia.
You're welcome. Thank you. Eloise gets credit for all the translation on it. And we will be sending it out to be printed and should get to that. It's frustrating because I'd like to do it right now or yesterday. So we're working on it. Thank you all.
I'll just say one other thing. We have translations on our website now into multiple languages, and we just added Swahili to that list about 2 weeks ago. So more East African community health workers who are proficient in Swahili can look on our website, and it's all translated automatically through AI.
We look forward to having French on there as well, because Francophone and Lusophone, the Portuguese, will be there for West Africa. So we've been recruiting a few. Now, speaking of acronyms, we used to give a prize for the best acronym. My favorite of all time was the Canadian Rotarian Against Malaria. And we hope to reestablish a strong Canadian presence. We have a few Canadians on here. Shout out to Rick Cuthbertson in New Brunswick. CRAM, Canadians Rotarian Against Malaria, is my favorite acronym. The education is such a large effort. We have to have some fun while we're doing it. So thank you for letting me get in there a few words before Bryna, the fundraising committee.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who has made tremendous efforts to join us. It's incredible. Catherine just posted that we have over 100 people on this call, which is just, it goes to show you what we need to do and how we're going to do it with all your help. Okay, so we really didn't have a fundraising committee before, but we were successful in raising funds, not only from Rotarians, but from Rotary clubs, individuals that everybody would talk to, and organizations outside of RI. We did have fundraisers around the holidays. Those are on our website and on World Malaria Day, and they've added all to our capability to self-fund grant requests that come to us from all over the globe. And kudos to the grants committee for dissecting them and determining which are the right ones that we should be doing. This past November, we did a fundraiser that was totally separate from RI. And this was in advance of our trip where we took the 18 Rotarians from the United States. This was our RAM Global Kenya trip. And the purpose of this was to provide all the vital equipment for 44 community health promoters that Dan and I had met the prior year in Siaya. We were able to have all the equipment produced in country, which was a local economic benefit. And there were 44 bicycles, gumboots, you know, it's all in the report. The funds had come from private donors who were made aware of the urgent needs of these tireless workers. I can't impress upon everybody to talk to your friends, talk to your local organizations, because these are the people who are out there every day helping the people in need. We had a gifting ceremony in February during the trip, which was deeply moving, and you can see on our website the videos. We are moving into a new Rotary year, and congratulations to everyone who has joined us. It's really important for our fundraising committee, and I'm excited to have the people who are on the committee. We need our RAG to reach out to alternative funding sources. I have been talking to large charitable foundations, domestic and international. We're going to be speaking with smaller and specialized funding sources to assist with some of our grant proposals. And there's always, everybody knows some high net worth individuals. So feel free to talk to those people, tell our story. We'll be investigating these funding sources in the upcoming year, making them possible. This is part of our effort to educate new stakeholders around the global impact of malaria. So we hope that our strategies and efforts will align new partners internationally, domestic, wherever they are, and move our efforts forward. And I welcome any comments, information that some of you may have, and appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bryna. This is great. The small grants, we'll have some of the highlights from Larry Granite, who's got up very early this morning out in Seattle.
Wow, I didn't know I was speaking, so, but it's not a problem. I think everything works. We've done a report. You can click on the website or click here on your screen for the report of what we think we've accomplished this year. Not all of it was done specifically by the committee. A lot of it was done by the Friends of RAM Global that Drake mentioned earlier. The grants committee, a lot of the work is moving the first application that we get from developing countries and getting the writer of the grant request to understand what we need in the way of information. We don't want a budget that's just made up numbers. We want specifics. We want to know what the need is. We want to know what will be accomplished once you do the project. These are the things that we're looking for. They're basically the same things that RI is looking for. If you've done a global grant, or going back, if you've been in a while, you could have done club to club grants through RI, but or district grants through RI. So this is a big effort. It gets taxing sometimes, but at the same time, when you're finished, you've got a project that makes sense. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 different applications, and we've been there and done that. We had a committee that looked at the applications that were close to being ready. If an application isn't ready, I, as the chair, went back and talked to the person that submitted it and made it more logical. Then the committee could look at it and say, okay, this is something we would like to fund that we think is going to help reduce malaria. So that's important. I appreciate all the help I've gotten. Some of the committee, or most of the committee, is on this call. And lastly, I would say I'm very impressed with the number of people and the number of friends that I have on this call. And so thank you for coming. Thank you for your support on malaria. And needless to say, I hope it will continue. We have 2 great co-chairs coming in to replace me. And I'm sure the work of the committee will be strengthened as a result of these two co-chairs, Akoma and Hank. So thank you again, and I am finished.
Larry, nobody could replace you. You've done an absolutely fabulous job, and we have successfully driven you crazy for that year, because what do? We've increased the grants. We've had several grants, or a few grants, seeking $25,000 and more to go to a whole variety of other causes. So you've held in there and tabulated everything, and we really appreciate your good humor and your, I call it, infinite patience in dealing with us as we grow and grow and grow. Thank you for all the work. And I'm sure we haven't seen the last of you, or I certainly hope we haven't. Thank you again for all of this, and for everybody on the Small Grants Committee and who's worked on all the grants, because we've done so many grants. Shout out to Conrad and the Germans, who did a major grant down in Lindy of 16,000 euros to provide a whole bunch of services to train up community healthcare workers there that did not even get in on that report. So now we're down to the resolutions. So we are on target for time. We're 3/4 of an hour in. So I'd like to entertain a motion number 1 to accept the slate of board of directors for 24-25 Rotary year to begin on July 1st.
And I'd like to say thank you to all the people that participated in this process. We got 58 people that applied to be on the board of directors.
Oh my.
Many of them are on this call, almost everybody, I believe. And many are going to serve on committees because we couldn't fit them all onto the board of directors. But I want to thank everyone for stepping up, and the process was worked through with the committee. Ellen Blasi served as the director of that committee early on, and we culminate it with this vote now. So I make the motion, and we need a second.
I see a second from Claudia and Larry Granite. All those in favor, wave your hand, and the motion.
Say aye.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody.
Aye.
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 Excellent.
I hear a few ayes from people who hadn't gotten to speak in the meeting.
From all around the globe.
Aye.
Oh, boy. I see hope and eyes from so many people, District Rotary Foundation coordinators and so many other things. And excellent. And I see several hands up while we're at it. That must be votes. So shall we move to the motion? The AGM minutes. I'm going to separate this out to the budget because we haven't yet gone over the budget itself. I accept a motion to approve the 2023 annual general meeting minutes from a year ago. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. So a motion for the minutes from last year. This is a formality. I have that from Adenji Niji in Nigeria. And who else will be the would wave their hand for the, we have that? Oh, Steve Baker. Hey, good to see you, Steve. Bienvenido. And then all in favor of approving last year's Alliance for Malaria, Rotarian Action Group on Malaria Annual General Meeting minutes. Keep your hands up. Stay
Aye.
on. Hi, Bill.
Aye.
Nice to see you.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Uh,
Aye.
Thank you so much for that. And now, if we could step over to the side a minute and have the budget. Because we worked very hard, and especially Howie our treasurer worked very hard on the budget. Is it possible?
I don't think Howie is on, but I
Okay.
will say that he's in
Here we
Australia,
go.
and
Australia, it's very late there.
he sent apologies that he would not be on the call.
Right. We've almost tripled the budget. Well, we've more than tripled the budget from last year. And we put it into these simple, clean to understand items. You'll see it on your screen. The budget revenues are donations of $15,000, grants of 20, transfers from Illinois Prairie Community Foundation, and then we put in there transfers from Rotary Deutschland as a placeholder. We have other donors who are willing to contribute. So this would give us $89,000 to do this. And the budget expenses are administration for web design, for an operations assistant, the miscellaneous office, and conventions in Congress with the new incoming Global Malaria Conference in Calgary, and then other outreach, education, and that's a catch-all for grants. We did more than $60,000 worth of grants this year where donations come in and then go out. So we wanted to give you a summary budget right here rather than go into the several pages of detail.
And while we're on this, I'd just like to say this is very rough estimates because of the way our organization works. The Rotary Deutschland 27,000 actually is going to probably be made up of 20 different items in the coming year, which we don't need to list in this page. And I want to give a shout out to Catherine and Carlos for all their great administrative help in the past year. Thank you.
Amen. We need a standing ovation for them. We should all stand up and clap for all of the fabulous work that Catherine's done. We would not be here, let alone in this shape, which is very solid financially and ever stronger organizationally without her.
You're welcome.
So I make the motion. I'll make the motion that we pass the budget as stated here. Thank you. We need a second.
I see.
I second.
All right, from Arthur.
Arthur.
Now, all those in favor, wave your hand and say aye.
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 That's a terrific for us. Thank you.
Aye.
Hey, welcome. Schönen Dank. Gracias a todos. And we're here towards, if there's a further motion. So as you are seeing, Rotarians Action Group on Malaria is small but powerful, but we have a network that adds to the global campaign on malaria that is organized by WHO, the World Health Organization, funded primarily by the Global Fund for AIDS, TB, and Malaria and the President's Malaria Initiative, and is active in dozens of countries with ever-increasing success. We as Rotarians pioneer innovations and spread them around. Jenny Carrison was over on the Nigeria committee of the Rotary Healthy Community Challenge And so we're bringing these resources together so that we move the action forward. We've done this for now decades, and we're really looking forward to Calgary because Calgary is a symbolic birthplace of a lot of the work. It is in Calgary that at the Rotary Convention, we designed that we're putting nets into vaccination campaigns. That first took place as a Rotary matching grant in Ghana over 20 years ago, and now that's gone to scale. There are so many other innovations that have come in. Community healthcare workers, for example, especially in Zambia, provided the Rotary Foundation the opportunity to found their programs to scale. And on that, we're building the Rotary Healthy Communities. So thank you so much. We're building out on everybody's structure. So is there a motion number 3 that we have to have, or is there, have we pretty much gone through our community, our annual general meeting official agenda?
Does anyone out there have any other motions or discussion before we go into the questions? Well, hearing none, I think we should move on to the end of the meeting, which is questions and discussion. We tried to keep this meeting within an hour. I think we're going to accomplish that. People who want to stay on longer for further discussion are welcome to. We have more time. I encourage everyone to try to save your money, make your reservations for Calgary right now. The registration is on the screen. We're going to have a really wonderful Congress. People are going to learn a lot about all the activities around malaria going on around the globe.
Yeah, the team has been that's organizing this is being led by several people on Malaria Partners International and RAM Global, and they've hired, thanks to the Gates Foundation grants, professional organizers to lay the groundwork for a really well-organized Congress. So it's a year off, a little more than a year, and it should be just spectacular. We're really kicking that off. It's so symbolic to have it in Calgary. So we're so looking forward to having the Global Malaria Eradication Congress builds on the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. They took the same name with the idea that we are now at the point where we can take malaria to zero, and Rotarians are having an increasing role in that. Thank you so much for joining it, and Drake over. Who would like to start posing questions? We'll send you a link to the registration, Jemis, and we'll have that on the website as well.
And as people are dropping off the call, I see a few have left. Thank you all for being here. Officially, I would say the meeting is over at this point, but we will continue with questions and discussion for a few more minutes.
And we should have a formal handover to you, Dan, from my year to the next, or is it too early? We still have another 26 days for me to cause problems. Oh, John, you're laughing.
Yep. No, well, I actually have not a question, a statement. This seems like it would be a perfect thing for clubs that haven't done district grants to do a district grant for this. If you could send me some information. I'm the district international project chairman in 7670, and you know, we have a lot of clubs that just aren't imaginative enough to get a district grant, and those are $4,000 to $5,000. But if I can get 3 or 4 clubs, that's $15,000. That's a lot of money. And if somebody's had some experience with that, Rotary doesn't like people just giving money. They want them to get involved. And I've had 4 global grants in Bolivia and 1 in Argentina. So I know how to do this stuff.
John, I think we have your connections, and we will, mine is drakezim@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to connect you. So this year, you bring up a topic, one, district grants. Various districts do these grants. We just had one sponsored by Steve Baker, who was on here, and Ellen Blasi of the Key Biscayne Club for Peru. And we're we're going to contribute, Ram Global is going to contribute, at least an individual from Ram Global is going to contribute to that. So beyond that, this year, district designated funds, DDF, that is old and has not gone used, can be put into grants, and Rotary International is cracking down on the use of it. They're trying to make it happen. So we will give you some follow-up on that. Even my
Okay.
district, which has been aggressive at using its DDF, turns out, I found out yesterday, it has 77,000 of DDF that it needs to use up really soon.
So,
And we've been very aggressive. I'm just grasping my head saying, oh my gosh, there are districts out there that have so much DDF. So we're building a series of global grants that people can contribute to. I see Brian. I want to give a shout out to Brian and Maxine Stoyle of Remit. Hi, how are you doing? They're in the UK. Remit started a little over 20 years ago when Brian was president of then RIBI, Rotary International British Isles, wanted to do a project, Rotary Eliminating Malaria in Tanzania. And we've got great projects going. Would you like
Drake?
to hello?
Drake, I'd
We're
like to
keeping well.
shout out to
We're keep-
Marion. Marion is on from Nigeria. She's going to work at our booth at ASTMH in New Orleans in November. Wonderful. Thank you.
Great. And so over to Brian and Maxine.
Well, thank you very much, Drake. It's great to hear what great progress you've made since you've been chairman of this. But when it started off, it was just a little pipe dream, as far as I was concerned, to help one country. But you've gone global now, so that's really great. And glad that you're getting into the link of getting some foundation money out, because that's what it's all about, getting it out there, doing work rather than just increasing in value. So I'm going to keep quiet after that, but Maxine and myself send love to all of you all around the world, and delighted that we were able to join you this afternoon. So thank you, Drake, and keep well.
We look forward to working with you and FACRAN and others in Tanzania to educate the community healthcare workers, put the 40,000 nets that we were offered at 20 cents a net, the BASF top of the line nets and other things. So this is great. So Marion, I think we have a hand up from Ann Evans. Ann, would you identify yourself? And you're on mute right now. That might have been a vote.
Yeah, it might have been.
Well,
we had a lot.
Might have been, yeah.
On that.
And I apologize. Marion is from Uganda, not Nigeria. That's my error.
Uh-huh.
And would Niji like to say anything from Nigeria?
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful meeting. I just want to confirm that we in Nigeria will do our best to support RAM Global. And right now I'm in US, where I'll be returning to Nigeria next week. So I'll start my ambassadorial work in earnest. Thank you.
Thank you. We hope to use they talk about money going to malaria. The Rotary Foundation has put up $13 million that will go to 4 countries, Nigeria, Zambia, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Mozambique. The RAM Global, especially Jenny Carrison, has helped organize Nigeria. They're doing something related to malaria, but not going after eradication. We're building on what they're doing to go after eradication there. We love their work. $13 million is the largest individual grant other than polio that has ever gone out. So we're absolutely thrilled at this scale up. So when we say scale up, it's happening. I see a hand up from Stanley Chufu. Is your hand up or was that voting, Stanley?
Yes, thank you, Drake. My name is Stanley Echefu from District 9141, Nigeria. And just want to thank you and the team for a very fruitful meeting this afternoon. And of course, my club, the Rotary Club of Trans-Samadi, benefited from the small grant, $25,000 in 2022. And I have
thank you so much. I see Carrie on here. Dr. Carrie is from Australia.
Can you hear me?
We have a delay on Stanley.
We are able to do the malaria project at Waterfront, Borokiri area in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. And we succeeded in distributing over 2,500 mosquito nets, fumigated over 500 houses via the India Rosida School, and lots of training of healthcare workers, advocacy, and also mounting of the RAM Global Billboard in the community, which has been very profound. So I want to thank RAM Global immensely for the opportunity given to us to be of help to humanity, especially people in the waterside area of River State. Thank you so much, and we remain committed to this assignment, and we will ensure that we continue to pass the message of RAM Global in our districts. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We are so excited about moving this up. We have Ann Evans, who's put her hand up a couple times, but she's having trouble unmuting. She's the doctor and co-vice chair of Rotary Healthcare Professionals and MGI for Health in 24 to 27. She's been working in South Sudan since 2009. Oh my gosh, and is very interested in malaria. She's trying to unmute, but that's not working. So I'll connect you up, Anne, with the group from the Alliance for Malaria Prevention, which is the global group based in Geneva that delivers mosquito nets and works on the logistics for that, including South Sudan. There's a lot we can do. So let's connect there, because I see that you can't get unmuted. And then thank you so much for persisting to raise your hand. Over to Kisadeki? Kisadeki Zibuke. Thank you.
Yes. I'm from Democratic Republic of Congo, but currently I'm in Uganda for 8 years. I'm also
Katie, you are really breaking up. I cannot understand. I get about every third syllable.
Yeah.
Could you just type into the chat, please? Because we can't hear you very well.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all, really.
And maybe we'll say a shout out to Linda, who hasn't had a chance to say hello.
Hi, Linda Stevens. And we have the Rotary Club of Siaya in here as well, where Oscar has been. Siaya is Western Kenya, the home of the father of U.S. President Barack Obama, and a center of very high malaria, where we're going to have one of the posts in Wacom to dramatically lower malaria. So now over to James Anjnuj Kwame. James, you're on. He may be having trouble mute as well.
Okay. Hello. Yeah. Good evening. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Bonnie Stephens from Côte d'Ivoire, and I'm talking on behalf of Dr. James. So I would like to thank RAM Global for all activities that they support us in Côte d'Ivoire. We have several activities that we conduct last year in Côte d'Ivoire. So you support us a lot. We did some sanitation activities in Jokwe. We have some cleaning activity also in Dalwa, and we distributed mosquito nets in Ma. So several of those activities were sponsored by RAM Global, and also we have Malaria Partner International who support us. So just taking this opportunity to thanks a lot, and we hope that we'll be working very hard also to apply for small grants also to help us, because we do have a lot of malaria cases in Côte d'Ivoire, and it's a big issue here in Côte d'Ivoire. So we have to have more support from RAMS in order to be also eradicate malaria in Côte d'Ivoire. I was the president of Malaria Committee in Côte d'Ivoire, and now I'm taking the head of National Health Committee of Malaria of Rotarians in Côte d'Ivoire. So thank you very much for your support. And I'm not so fine, that's why you cannot see me very well, but I hope that next time I'll be able to see you all of you. So thank you very much for everything, and hope to continue this work against malaria in Côte d'Ivoire. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup for all of, thank you so much for all of your work. This is just terrific. I see on here DGE Patri from Thailand. Thailand is, we have some new members in, and it's possible to take, it is very close to going to zero. We hope we can be active in that and participate in that in the coming years. So we may have to include dengue in some of these campaigns because the locals aren't that interested in malaria, but they are very interested in dengue. So if we go after malaria and dengue, do vector control as in mosquito control, we can drop both of them and take it to zero. So that's part of the strategy for a lot of countries now. So this is terrific. It's wonderful to see all these friendly faces and people we've had contact with. Carrie Ann Wilshire, Dr. Carrie, how are you doing? Thank you for the waving. She's been very active in the Asia Pacific countries and really wants to get something going in Papua New Guinea. Her colleague, past District Governor Di Mason, who's been on the RAM Global Board, and I think he's going off with me, having been there long enough or too long. We have bylaws that limit the term, is right now in Papua New Guinea, as I said at the first of this call, at the APPLMA, the Asia Pacific Malaria Leaders Association meeting in Port Moresby, where he's getting the plans together. I emailed him this morning. He's getting the plans together so that we can put together plans to knock out malaria in Asia Pacific. As RAM Global, we take what we learn over there and take it to Africa and take it elsewhere. Right now, we have some of those protocols that have gone to zero, proven to go to zero, already going into African efforts, and they're taking malaria down much faster at a much faster rate. So we're really excited about the work that they've been doing. And we get teased and we get asked, why are you working in Asia Pacific? And so, well, the answer to that is because they figured out how to go to zero and how hard it is and what we need to do. So as a good Rotarian, the fifth item of the four-way test is, can we steal your ideas and apply them elsewhere? And that's what we're doing. I see Jenny Carrison is still on. Yes, Jenny, you've stolen very effectively, and we are stealing your ideas. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, they're not my ideas, Jake. It's collective, never my ideas. But thank you. You're very kind.
Right. Those ideas just fell off the back of a truck somewhere. We know.
Yeah, that's
mine.
right.
That's good. We also see Bruce Anderson here, who's the head of RAM, the original RAM. RAM and I got together in 1994 in Taipei and formed RAM, which turned into RAM Global 15 years later. Bruce, would you have anything to share?
No, I'm very fortunate as the national manager for RAM in Australia to have people like Dr. Kerry and Dr. Jenny and various other ones on our national committee taking care of our programs in the various countries that we support. So I like being in a position of letting good people do good work and not interfering unless it's absolutely necessary. So I have a good committee and they're doing very good work in our partner countries, and I don't plan to disrupt any of that at all.
Thank you,
Bruce.
Bruce.
Had to kick me out of there. So I'm just following in your footsteps here.
Shout out to Kent Taylor in Homer, Alaska, I believe.
Hey, Kent. Nice to see you. I cannot see everybody on here. So we give shout outs to all sorts of people here. We really appreciate all of your work. We've built this to where we've got members in over half of the districts in Rotary, and now we're expanding it beyond that to have ambassadors in each of those countries, especially in endemic areas. Some countries like India are going to take whole teams to get things going. We also want to thank Dr. Emma Bruce, who's been on our board. She's from the Gambia. She's done fabulous work in District 9101 across that whole district. She's formerly part-timer with she's been able to add the obligation or the work with the MPI for MPI West Africa. MPI being Malaria Partners International, the outgrowth of the Seattle Club Project. They have many clubs and districts that are organized, and help in a variety of projects, most notably in West Africa. And they're setting up country teams in other places. There's, yes. Hey, are you here? Is Emma here? I guess not. So our heartfelt gratitude to everybody for all of your hard work here. So
Are there any other questions people could pose on the chat or in person here on the screen? I notice we're losing people, and that's okay. That's the time to drop off, but
yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Akoma.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to be here, and I've listened very keenly. Thank you so much for all the work we've done in fundraising. And I just noted that we didn't share so much about how, in terms of the impact the grants made. There was a lot of information on how much we gave as grants. I noticed that Brian tried a bit to bring in a bit of the results. I think in the new year, we will focus on telling that story of our results a little more to match the money that we're giving out in terms of the grants. So I will be very happy to work with my chair to get that work done. Thank you very much to everyone. Dr. Carrison for your support in Nigeria, and also PDG Raji for your leadership. Thank you, Dan, and everyone. Grateful.
Looking forward to your service here. And thank you so much for all that you're bringing. That it's just, yeah, the comments about you are all very promising and laudatory. So there we go. Frederick. You're still on mute. Frederick, you're still on mute. Your mouth is moving, but we can't. There we go. Oh, nope, not yet.
No, it's still
While you're unmuting, we want to thank everybody, especially Catherine, for her huge work this year. Thanks to Dan and Bryna for getting everything organized. Thanks to Conrad for organizing all of that. So many thanks go to David Hurst and Carlos and everybody else on here. We look forward to working with Jennifer and other people. Frederick, you're still on mute, so we can't hear you. So we can't hear you. So
we'll go ahead and answer Marion's question on the chat. How regular are our meetings going to be? Each committee has their own schedule. We're going to have them determine when the best times for their meetings are. David Hurst has been doing every 2-week meetings for communications and IT, and that will continue with the new leadership. Some of the meetings are monthly, so it depends on what committee you're on. Can we hear Frederick now?
Yes, Frederick.
Are you able to get me now?
Yes.
Yes, it is evening here in Kenya. I don't know whether it is good evening. Well, we are still working on the innovation that we've been trying to work on. We are still very passionate about the issue of net hanging here. In the last meeting, we said that we are working on a structure that will make it very possible for every household, the lowest household, to hang net appropriately and easily. So we are still working on the structure, and anytime we get through with the structure, we'll let it be known. And I know it will be very great. It will be of great help for the low income households, so that they can see how they can hang nets to help them prevent the mosquito. So we are still working on the project. We've noted down the tools.
Thank you, Frederick.
Thank you, Frederick.
I'm very grateful for the wonderful meeting, and may you keep up with it, please. Thank you.
Thank you. And habari gani to Victor Amundi in Bungoma.
Mzuri sana, karibu Kenya.
Karibu Kenya.
All right. We thank everybody who's been able to join us today. And in the very near future, we'll be turning this over to Dr. Dan Perlman and the entire new crew. I'll be staying on as ex officio, non-voting member, and it's been an absolute joy to build this up. I look forward to all of the extra work that's happening in the future and all of the great successes that we set the stage for, all the work from everybody from around the world. The best is in front of us, and we are so excited about what's going on here coming in the future. We've won awards as a group, and that's before we did all this wonderful work. We so look forward to working with the Rotarians from the UK, from Kenya, from Nigeria, from West Africa, from India, from Thailand, from everywhere. Thank you so much. And from Indonesia, even though it's the middle of the night for them right now, and they have many able to join. So best tidings to everybody. Thank you so much. We're setting the stage for taking malaria to zero faster than it ever could have gotten. It is thanks to your work, your dedication, your contributions, and all of the fun. So we will be putting the GMAC link together for everybody, GMEC, and we'll see you in Calgary at the meeting, probably before. We look forward to all working with you very soon. Thanks so much.
Okay, Drake, I'm on my way to see you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.